We're live.
We're live. Okay. And audio's working?
Well,
yes. I see the dots.
We see dots.
Yes.
Welcome to Technical Difficulties. I'm Thom Britton.
I don't know. Whose show is this? Is it Performance Revue or is it?
So I guess, here, Modern Podcast Etiquette 101.
Yeah.
I guess technically since we're on my channel.
Yeah.
But then is that superseded by we're in your living room?
Yeah.
Ooh, who's bringing the crumpets? Who'll serve the tea?
Film
How are we doing back there,
location.
Allison? You guys live on Facebook? We're soon to be live on Facebook? We're live on Facebook. Hello, Facebook.
Hooray!
How are you? Hello, YouTube. Multi-camera shot.
Yeah.
So forgive the on the spectrum eye contact as we seem to be looking in random directions.
Yeah.
We're looking at camera 1, camera 2, camera 1. Introduce yourself and explain, and then I'll go.
Yeah.
And then we'll do this thing.
Sweet. So my name is Robert Litwin. I will be playing PlayStation this whole time. Yeah, this is a Let's Play. You didn't know?
Welcome to Twitch!
Yeah, right. It's a Twitch channel now. No, I have a host a show called Performance Revue. It's technically in a podcast format, but it's more like multimedia. So typically I will go out to a show. I will film the show, film a set from a comedian or performer. And then I'll invite you over, we talk about it, we do a little reaction video, and then we actually do an hour-long discussion or sometimes more about the actual set, the influences behind it, what compels you to go on stage, all that kind of stuff. So it's really getting to know a performer through the actual performance.
And that's what we're doing today.
Yeah.
You likened it to a DVD commentary, which I think it's
Yeah.
like a long-format DVD commentary.
Yeah, what we're
You
doing
watch
right
a 10-minute
now,
movie and they do an hour discussion about the 10-minute movie with the creator. And with the exception of one of them, and then mine, which will be coming out soon, they've all been stand-ups.
Yeah.
So they're literally writer, director, producer, editor, star,
Yeah.
our tour in a way, and then one band and me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of neat to sit there and talk to because you don't get any why did you do that? Oh no, catering just decided to. No, that person on that stand-up knows why they made that choice.
Yeah, they know exactly. And what I loved about this was I didn't have to film this, so I didn't have to go to location.
Thanks to Kinsey Street Studios
Yeah.
in beautiful Chicago, Illinois, for filming Freak Show and Tell.
So this was, it was also fun to have that. We got like 2 hours of discussion, I think, when I went back and looked at it. It's going to be edited down just a little. This
is the downside to I talk in paragraphs.
Yeah.
And I really like the topic of, so what we talked about, by the way, I'm Thom Britton. I do Freak Show and Tell. Since this is my page and my YouTube channel, you probably know who, but that's me. I'm a fire eater. I'm a fire eater with a undergraduate degree in science. So I explain the science of fire eating. That's my shtick. And then I do that with sword swallowing, do that with bed of nails, do that with glass walking, do that with lawnmower juggling, whatever, cats on stage.
I like lawnmower juggling.
I juggle with a lawnmower on my chin. Back in there's a video of that. I'll show you that later too.
Oh,
but some of the stuff that isn't in the show because then what do you explain?
Yeah.
Practice. You practice. It's like high wire walking, right?
Yeah.
But that's Freak Show and Tell, which you can kind of get an idea behind me here. That's what I do. Sorry, you'd said something. I realized I hadn't introduced myself, and we're already chatting about something.
Yeah. Oh, the podcast name is Performance Revue.
that's what I think. I tend to talk in paragraphs, and while we were using we're talking about me and my thing and my show.
Yes. Yeah.
We sort of ended up leaping off into topics of like writing and theater and art and what is art. And that crap I can talk about for days because that's what I read in my spare time. That's the podcast I listen to.
Yeah.
Is the nature of art or theater or writing or whatever. And so it's kind of fun to be like, oh, well, this is basically like Spalding Gray, but I want to do my version. Yeah, it's been a 2-hour discussion.
So, in original introductions. The Performance Revue, REVUE, because that's kind of a pun, and I thought it was funny at the time, and I already made the logo, so.
Oh, okay.
We're stuck with it.
Well, the Beatles were stuck with it too.
Yeah.
Once you pun up early, you can't do it. But I'll put a link in the description once we're done.
Awesome.
So they want to look for the podcast, especially if you're into the Chicago scene. There's also some people that get it now because in 5 years they're going to be super. Like the next T.J. Miller's in there, the next Hannibal Buress is in there. They come through here and New York City and L.A. and Toronto. Yeah. So he's catching folks that you don't know yet because they're up and comers.
Yeah. Or you may have glimpsed them here or there. Some of these people actually have time on TV. You may have seen a clip here or there. But yeah, for the most part, it's a lot of local Chicago talent. The first season, which is already out there, this is kicking off the second season, had Amy Shanker, who's actually in New York now. Some of the comedians I've interviewed are either in New York or were going to New York at the time. So yeah, here in New York, that's a lot of it. But yeah, people you may not have heard of, but you probably will. Yeah. At least one of these guys for sure.
Oh yeah.
But and a lot of performers of color, a lot of LGBTQIA community. Those are the people I find funny. One of the rules on the show: if I don't like it, if I don't find you funny, or if I don't find you entertaining, or if there's not something I think you have to say, I don't invite you on. So
there's no point doing it until it pays. It's all real money, not even like you're like, how much is your soul worth? It's like, well, even if you are paid as a podcaster or paid as a YouTuber, it's like, but I don't want to talk. Like Craig Ferguson said this famously: I won't have so and so on. I forget who it was, like some pop star. Yeah. He's like, not because they're not bad. I'm sure they're a fine person. I have nothing to talk to them about. And they would ask, well, why do you have, like, I'm just going to pull some out of the air. These weren't the ones. Well, like, why do you have Kesha on, but you won't have Britney Spears on? He's like, well, I met her at a party. We got on, and I thought, oh, now I have something to talk to her about, whereas I would have rejected both. So, yeah, even at his level, he was like, it's 1 a.m., bitches. I don't need to talk to everybody. LGBTQIA?
Yeah.
What were the last two?
Oh, man.
Used to be plus. When I was a kid, it was plus.
Yeah. Maybe
intersex.
Maybe I'm not that big of an ally.
Asexual. Intersex and asexual.
IA when you're talking. Okay, I thought you were
LGBTQ. I'm good. IA used to be plus.
Yes.
Right. So now intersex and asexual.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I'm not as big of an ally as I thought.
A lot of straight white dudes get mad at the thing. I consider it like memorizing digits of pi. Like, bring it. What else you got? LGBTQIA. What PD, FB, ORG? I want to be able to do them all.
When you first said that, I thought you were talking about there were more letters added, and I'm like, oh, it's more inclusive. That's great. What else is there?
Oh no, it was LGBTQ plus, and then you said IA. I'm like, there's another one.
Yeah,
and I get excited, like a new flavor. Awesome. What they add? But that's my guess. Tell me. You can also ask questions. I don't know how good we are at answering them in real time. I don't know where I would see these things. Allison's helping us out in the back. I don't know. See what you can do. Shout really loud. The window's open. We'll hear you and we'll answer your question.
Yeah, it's annoying in that courtyard. Yeah, so you want to get this started?
Let's do this. So we're going to watch a video. What did the most painful part of the show is me watching me. Just all you see is like the fat and the mistakes and my stupid voice.
I think when we did this before, your trousers got a little tight, so maybe.
It's the worst watching yourself. And I had to edit this, so you watch yourself for hours, and all I hear is just this Harvey Firestein. I'm like, dude, take a voice class.
Well, that's one of the fun things about pitching this show to people, especially in the beginning, because I would tell people, this is what I want to do, and the reaction is almost always, oh, that sounds interesting. Oh, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah, I don't want to hear myself. I hear a caricature of my voice, and all I see is where I'm fat or where a mistake, where I'm like, that's now I've forgotten. This is older material. So the good news is, at least now watching it, I'm not like, that's not the joke. That's not what you wrote. That's not the word. When I was first editing it, I was like, why do I screw up that joke every time? It's one of my favorite jokes. So at least now I've got some distance. Yeah. But I still, everyone hates how they look.
Yeah. Well, if you're younger, you can be like, oh, I was thinner back then.
Yeah, right? Marginally. That's the problem. 10 pounds, not enough.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's get this thing started.
The Renaissance is where we see the rise of the fire eater. And that's the first thing I want to teach you this evening. Please notice I didn't say show you. I said teach you. I want you, at the end of this, to be able to eat fire. And I'm going to teach you in a piece I like to call How to Eat Fire in 3 Easy Steps.
That laughs at a different
Step
place.
1,
it's not
eat the fire. What do I mean? I mean extinguish the flame. Light a torch, put it in your mouth, close your mouth, ta-da. Eat the fire, being the metaphor. I'll do it first so you can see, because it occurs to me not everyone has seen a fire eater live. So first, we'll dispense with the formalities, and then I want to break this down so that you understand exactly what it is I'm doing.
I'm going to pause it right here. I love that this is like almost the intro. Like if this was a paper, you wrote the intro paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost seems like, now that I've seen this a few times, I'm like, oh, right, I see the script as it was written.
And this is classic vaudeville stuff for jugglers, and I was started as a juggler originally. Say what you're going to do, do it, say what you did. Yeah. And so we get comedians hate us for this reason, because it puts you in the moment. But what I'm going to do is throw this high into the air, catching it in my left hand, simultaneously spinning this hoop on my right foot while I'm balancing a ball on my face. It begins in 1, 2, 3, and you do that. And even when you go from that legacy of the way it was done for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years, certainly by the time we started writing down the scripts, that's how it was done. Say what you're going to do it, either recap or take a bow or escalate. Yeah. You see it if you really watch with a critical eye. Even Cirque du Soleil, they telegraph what's going to happen to let the audience get ahead of you, which for a comedian is death.
Yeah.
If you see my punchline, but me be like, I'm going to light it, put it in my face. Everyone got that.
But that's
what
light it, wants to see.
Put it right there. Ooh, he's going to light it, put his face. So it's weird to see how these things are all written almost with a formula to them. And then I took that formula and just made it a whole show. Tell them what you're going to do. Spend 45 minutes doing it, then tell them what you did at the wrap up.
Yeah, well, this and you likened a lot of when we did the podcast, when we recorded all of it, you were likening it to carnies, you know, and like this is very much like carnival stuff.
Very much so. I learned in a carnival.
Yeah,
you know, so I learned to talk in a carnival, and then had to rewrite it for the theater. You know, you get more space, more time. You can be less body. Well, saying that joke is in a different place. When I say I want to teach you how I want to teach you all how to eat fire. In a theater, there's no laugh there. Because that's not the most ridiculous idea, unless there's kids in the audience. Then it's hilarious that this guy's like, there's a 12-year-old next to me. So in a theater, I don't get anyone under 40. I'm often the youngest person in the room by a margin in a theater. When I do colleges, they get people who are 17, so they still think of themselves as younger than they are because they're a freshman. Or they bring their younger, like 12, 13-year-old cousin, and that person looks like a child. And so, I mean, they are, but they look really, really young still. And so when I say, teach you all how to eat fire, they go, that's ridiculous. We would all die.
Yeah, watch. Okay, here we go.
So you can do it. Step 1, eat the fire.
My favorite moment. Half a second, nothing.
Is there a moment in your brain where it's like, did it work?
Okay, what am I doing?
I've been doing it for so long.
You know all the things.
This is where the rubber meets the road. How do you eat fire? Okay, let's first dispense with what it is not. I did not buy this kit from David Copperfield.
Gotta update that reference. That's David Blaine.
What you're seeing here is a demonstration of physics, and like all
kids these days, they don't know Copperfield.
Very simple principles you understand, stacking up to complexity you cannot comprehend.
What's that? Isn't Chris Angel?
Read anything by Stephen Hawking or Albert Einstein. You get any one piece of
whoever I think is famous
is inescapable of our human mind. Only Dr. Hawking and his type seem to understand these things. So the natural moisture of the human mouth buys me about a half a second. But as you saw a moment ago, I don't need a wet environment. The fact that I'm going, okay, that's my mouth, that's the torch.
Out of my hand is what's not in this video.
So it's a lower
as you can see a moment ago, I don't need a wet
environment. If you watch, when I fire again, you'll see the flame get smaller. Now, this isn't cutting it in half. This is cutting it a few degrees, but every second counts when you're fire eating. I might have 5 seconds.
Every second counts when your face is on fire.
I just let you get burned. And that's not a good opening to a show. The 2 main points I want you to take home with you. Thermal lag and embouchure. You understand these. You do. You've just never heard the names. Thermal lag. You did this in 4th grade. Ooh. If you're in 4th grade, this is amazing. Or if you're really high, this is amazing. What? But no one is confused, I hope, by how I did that. That's thermal lag. So because this is butane, it burns at a certain temperature. If it were in a acetylene torch, I'd have to move a lot faster. The surface of the sun is measured in those units of time only physicists use. But my point is they could graph this for you, and that's called thermal lag. So let's apply it to this art form. If I had talked for a moment about Australopithecus lit the torch, step 1, eat the fire. Put it in my mouth and pull it out real quick. You'd be waiting for the punchline. You might think it was kind of brave to shove fire in your mouth, but that's it. Pull it right out. You could probably do that. Give it a shot later.
So what I really like about the explanation there is you said thermal lag and embouchure, and obviously the first thing somebody thinks is, the fuck is that?
Right, yeah.
You know, and you've been doing it for so long, they assume you're an expert, but you come right down to everybody's level. And you're just like, no, you fucking know this already.
Yeah, you don't have to call it. Yeah, you can point to that thing on the car, to the thing that makes it a brake caliper.
Yeah.
Brake caliper. You know what it did. You understood it in this case as well as I do. I don't have a physics degree. You know, it's an undergrad in applied sciences. It's nothing. It's the beginning of a degree. You then go get your master's and your doctorates in that. So I'm not talking from such a lofty perspective that I get it either. I get it enough to where the rubber meets the road. I get it enough to apply the science. Yeah. And that's it. So it's a fun thing to be like, oh, no, you're not that far. I'm not that far ahead of you. I'm jargon ahead of you. That's it. The concept, you're going to be like, oh, you did lighter. Yeah, because lag. It's lagging behind to deal with the fire. Move on.
Yeah.
Carry on. What's embouchure mean?
So then they're going like, oh, I get it.
Which I think is important when you're going to do, this is the beginning of, this is about 10 minutes into what's going to be a 75-minute show. That's a lot of these pieces over and over again, they're long form. So if I start too far over your head, I could go there. I don't, but I could certainly elevate. You know, I'd say something like, and this is what my training really is, and start graphing shit on stage in the middle of the show, maybe. But I certainly feel like you need to start at the welcoming to the lowest level of the audience member you're going to have, which could be a 17-year-old person. It never rarely is, but it could be someone who's not particularly good in school and is in high school. So they haven't had the advanced science training. Even I have, a little bit I have. And then make sure everyone's on the same page, because often we'll have real engineers in the audience, and I want to make sure they're not completely annoyed by how dumbed down I've gotten it.
If someone starts twitching in the audience, you're like, oh, fuck, yeah, that's a pro.
You want to understand, be like, okay, he's doing it like a teacher. He's doing it like a teacher. He wants everyone to catch up. He's not talking to me.
This isn't
I work at NASA. He's not talking to me. You know, I design rocket fuel for a living. He's talking to that person in the front row who doesn't look like they work at my lab institute. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Moving on.
So I've got a little bit of time, maybe 2 seconds. And then I get maybe a second because my mouth is a little bit moist, and maybe I get another half a second because of the lower oxygen environment. And then the real secret to being a fire eater, the embouchure. Embouchure is a fancy word. If you played an instrument in high school, you heard this term. It's the way you shape or hold your mouth.
Trombone.
What I did not know, started eating fire at 16. I just crossed the mark at 40 years old. 46. I learned a few years ago, so you don't have to know this to do it. I learned a few years ago what I was doing. When I first started eating fire, when you first start eating fire, later this evening, yes.
If you're the youngest person in the audience, you get a huge laugh. There's no one young there.
If it were easy, everyone would do it. Right here and right here. You're going to burn yourself. Fortunately for you, the mouth is one of the faster healing parts of the human body.
The vagina is number one. Really? So for us, the mouth is the fastest healing part of the human body. Then get weird. Start with the mouth. That's a put in your butt joke.
I would be able to eat fire maybe 10 minutes at 16.
It's theater.
When I first started. This is a problem. The circus sideshow opens at 11 a.m. and closes at midnight. 10 minutes is not going to help me. We grind shows all day long. What I developed, what every fire eater develops is an embouchure. Again, my mouth, the torch. You'll see this when I eat the fire. You'll see the fire going up and down a little bit. That's me finding the sweet spot. And what I'm doing with my embouchure, specifically the back of my tongue where it meets my soft palate, I am shaping this. Through trial and error, I just figured this out, as did everyone else who's eaten fire before me, to trap a superheated
well, I'm actually picturing someone like actually getting burned.
That pocket of fumes, about as hot as drinkable coffee, way cooler than the fireball in the middle. It protects me, not for long. It inevitably heats up as hot as the flame, and I get burned. Well, let's add it all together. Let's stack our principles. You got your thermal lag, you got your moisture environment, you got your lower oxygen, you got your embouchure. Put it all together, you get about 5 seconds. Here's the real secret. The real trick to fire eating, showmanship, baby. The real secret to fire eating is this supercomputer that truly defines
he's more like just
this amazing biological weapon you walk around with every day to text people on Facebook or whatever you do with it. What a great use for the most powerful tool on the planet, your brain. This, if I can get this amazing part of you to give a shit, to focus your attention, 5 seconds on the stage
was very risky. Ooh, we said shit.
Well, now you got to up it.
He's a lifetime.
The South Park guy.
To go from, this sounds pretty cool. Oh, God, he's going to teach us. Oh, my God. Holy God, pull it out. That was me. I like it. This guy's good. I think, unlike other art forms,
I think calling it,
knowing how I do it, doesn't cheapen.
Is a really smart move.
At least it didn't for me. I hope it doesn't.
Also,
for
restate
you.
the thesis.
I found the further I went down that rabbit hole, Alice, the more interesting that world got. So again, I invite you to watch step 1. Eat the fire.
This version, that piece, that 5 minutes, I still do.
Incidentally, for the ladies, you do not have to grow a beard.
Doctors and scientists really like this version.
But I am showing off.
That was a terrible extinguisher. Awful.
Why is it
Bad shit.
Okay, now you can eat the fire big deal. Step 2. Step 2,
slow it is.
chew
Now
the
I can do a
flame.
cool thing.
Now let's move much quicker because now you know.
So part of my challenge with what I do is it's a 10,000-year-old art form, but it's a 100,000-year-old friggin' trick.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing new there to how I'm packaging it and the jokes and whatever.
It's not what the first caveman did when he ate fire.
Pretty much, he just had, he would just bang a drum or have his friend bang a drum, do it. So the technique, the physics hasn't changed. So now what I'm able to do is put the fire out, retaining some smoke in my mouth, and I can put a little bit of smoke as they're applauding, which if the light hits it just right, it's brilliant. What I've been doing lately is I borrow a friend of mine's vape pen. I've been practicing smoke rings. Okay. And I'm not great at it yet, but every now and then if the theater's, the ventilation, etc., we'll smoke ring.
Oh,
and if the light ever catches that, and so currently it has not.
Yeah.
I've done it, I did it, and no one really noticed.
Like, that is just for me.
Or I've done a little poof, and people go, ooh, it gets caught in the red light that's coming in from the side. And, ooh, you get a second round of applause. One day I'm just going to nail that sucker.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, because that I've never seen done. So I'm not exhaling, which you should not try this your first 15 years of fire eating. You do it the way the person that taught you to do it told you to do it. And then you start reinventing the rules. So that's where I'm at. 46 years old, 30 years experience in this stuff. So it's fun to watch that. Actually, like, 6 years ago, that's where I was. Yeah. It's like any juggler, any physical performer, which is what this is. I think it's closest to jugglery. And the idea that it's amazing, but there's no deception. Yeah. I've just practiced more than you, like playing piano. That's jugglery to my mind. You sat down and did it. I'm not like, how are you pushing the keys? No, but how you play Rachmaninoff is amazing, but it's not a magic trick, right? So this to me is jugglery, and it's always fun and painful to look back 6 years and be like, well I am better. Yeah. But that shit's got 40,000 views. It's like, crap. It's like hearing your first album and be like, our band's so much better now.
Well, maybe in the future you could film a performance and maybe you could just get each take until you get that smoke ring caught in the light. That'll be your man on wire moment.
That'll be my goal. Yeah. I didn't know then I could do it. You discover, that's the nice thing about doing hundreds of shows a year. Yeah. Is that you get bored, first of all, and start playing with stuff on stage. But then when you hit that moment, you're like, oh, I can do it differently. Yeah.
And this is a common theme on my show. Repetition makes you better.
Stage time.
Practice it.
That's why the sideshow's so great. 11 in the morning, it opens until midnight, and we rotate a 30-minute show. Now you can go get lunch and just step out of a couple of shows, but then you have to double up. Yeah. So someone else can go be relieved, right? And generally, unless you're having a really bad day, you shouldn't have any downtime. Yeah. Which means I could write a joke at 11 a.m. And have it tested. It went through its not great phase. By 2 p.m., I'm like, oh, it's my sister's house, not my sister's house. Yeah. And that gets the laugh. And you've got to just figure that out on stage. You go, this is funny. Why did you get out of my sister's house? Yeah. There it is. And then by 10 p.m., it's either a bit you've got now for the rest of your life, or you're like, it's not working. I've tried sister's house, sister's house, sister's house. It's just not funny to them. Yeah. Cut it. What else do I have in the notebook?
This is very similar to open micing.
No, but this is 10 years of open micing per day. Yeah. That's why street performers and sideshow performers get so good so quick. Is one, you'll get booed off stage, which painful for your ego, kind of good for your show though. Yeah. You suck! And they throw something at you. It's not the worst motivator in the world, Buttercup. It sucks. Works. But a polite smattering of applause for the theater audience when you suck is maybe not the best medicine, even though it hurts.
Although, that would hurt. That would hurt a veteran.
But I get to go again. So even if I were today to bomb, I've got 15 shows in a week. So that repetition. But it's nice that like open micers fight for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes of its stage. Yeah. I'm like 7 minutes. I'm doing 75 minutes a night, 200 times a year now, and I was doing my 10 minutes every 30 minutes, every 20 minutes. A half-hour show for a 12-hour day.
Yeah. How fire eating works. So let's take it up a notch. Chewing the flame. What I'm going to do is put the torch in my mouth, hold it there, and pull it out.
Chewing the flame is my turn. Sustain is what you look
to close my mouth.
It's a sustain.
And deny oxygen and extinguish the flame.
I made this.
In it goes, out it comes. Why? I'm going to let that pocket of fumes I spoke about just a moment build and get to a certain temperature. About 2 seconds is enough. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, out it comes. As this torch still lit crosses the event horizon, that would be my lips, I'm going to adjust my embouchure. Stick out your tongue, but don't let the tip cross your teeth. All right? That is basically what I'm doing. And when you do that further back, it drastically changes the shape of the back of your throat. So up come the fumes, and they'll light on fire. Now I can pull the torch away. My mouth will be lit, chewing the flame. This is what separates the fire-eating men from the fire-eating boys. You may need to practice, but I've got that kind of time. Once my mouth is lit, I can then perform a transfer, which is lighting a dead torch off of my face. I know, right?
Once you've lit your face on fire, absolutely.
When I was 16, there was no internet.
That's the joke I've added there for that weird. Yeah. There's a weird pause that took me forever to write a joke to film.
Yeah.
Step 2.
I just grew my beard.
Chew your flame.
Like I said, when I was 16, there was no internet, so you did what you could. So I got by on something, but there was always this weird lag. There was a rider. Also, a weak sustain.
Tell you what I love about my art form.
I describe myself as barely eating fire.
I tend to hide away and very difficult to find.
The medium sideshow or a theatrical comic type. Yeah.
It's what I do. I like it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, working in this genre in my youth. Yeah. So I've focused now on the fire eating, but at this point, I'm just focused on
erudite, sort of hip
costume, makeup.
This isn't just pandering.
Using words like erudite.
Yeah. Well, you're a smart audience. You knew that.
Trying to fit my world into their world. That's square peg into a round hole. And then once it worked, and also getting theaters to buy into it.
Yeah.
They're like, it's a lowbrow art form. It's like me trying to take the monster truck rally into the theater. Like, I got told point blank to my face, I come to as a theater owner in Chicago multiple times. I got $1,000. I'd like to rent your space for a week and do my show. You're not theater. All right, well, let's not debate that. Okay, that's your opinion. And I'm just told, what you do is not theater. And it took, it's actually Richard Katofsky, bless his heart. He was a legend here. In fact, there's a Richard Katofsky Avenue right down the street. He did the Yippie Fest.
Yeah.
But that's what it's called now. When he did it, was called the Abby Hoffman Died for Our Sins Theater Festival. It was a very respected, doesn't matter, it's a very respected festival that happened here in Chicago of theater. And he took a chance on me. He gave me Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. And I did what I always do, baby. Full house. 27 people was a full house in the room. Yeah. So. But that's a target I can hit. I got this. Yeah. And he made a point to go and watch all the shows, especially ones he hadn't seen, saw it, and once he put a stamp on it, he's like, no, it's theater. It's great theater. It's vaudeville theater. You've got monologues, and he would compare it to George Bernard Shaw or Shakespeare, but things that were in his world, which it's the lowbrow version of. But yeah, you're doing kind of a Spalding grand monologue, but then during that you juggle knives. But there's a story here that you put tricks into, making it theatrical. But even if it weren't, it'd be a vaudeville show. You'd just be Houdini or something, right? Once he stamped it, all those barriers fell away. Nice. So my focus at this point is just getting in the room. And then I'm like, I'm not that good at fire eating. So then I kind of retcon in the fact that I need to get better at the trick I'm doing. Yeah. So it's kind of, I didn't realize that until watching it just now, where I'm like, oh man, my Mr. Stamp's so much better.
Well, that's funny. That goes back to, there was an article that came out recently that just said art, how far you get in the art world, your success basically comes down to who your friends are.
You can. Yeah, I read that same article, which is unfortunate because I know no one. I moved 1,000 miles from home. Yeah. I know nobody. I have 2 friends, and they don't work in the industry. They're no help to me. But I think also I can't focus on everything. And as much as I hate watching that now, I'm like, yeah, but I was making actual strides into theaters. Yeah. So it's like, right, the fire eating's weak, but I'll get to it. It's on the list of things I need to work on. But also that collar's a little wonky. Right when I was about to go on stage, they put 2 lavalier mics behind my tie.
Weird.
And then ran into a pack. So my tie was perfect. And then just before, Calvin is my friend, his dad owns the recording studio, so I got such a deal on these gorgeous cameras they brought out. Comes running back and goes, oh, this mic real quick. Okay, cool, but there's no mirror. It's a Lincoln Loft right behind those flats. So I went, that feels okay. It is not right. It is not correct. So I got other things I see that I'm working on now. Yeah. It's like, you can also press that shirt there, buddy.
That's right. I keep forgetting that was at Lincoln Loft. Yeah. That's No Shame Theater, rest in peace. But nostalgia.
But I think when we're smart and a little hip, we aren't as amazed by life We get a little hipsterish, even the best of us. And I love that moment when you realize, holy crap, his mouth is on fire. Like 3 grown men went, whoa.
This is a very hipster
9 years
crowd
old. For a minute, you were 9 years old at the damn circus. That's what I love about it. Because that's the feeling that I got. Though granted, I was a little younger at the time. I'll show you another version of this. I think with the chewing the fire, my height works against me, especially on a stage. The good seat to see that would be hanging from the ceiling looking down, the bird's eye view, which is difficult to get. So I'll show you another way to skin the cat. What I'm going to do, if you can see under the lights.
Cat skinning's another skill.
Yeah.
Okay, if this were
that'd be a
warm, I
sideshow.
could light it. So
Cat
what I'll
skinning
do is
next.
light the torch.
Stay tuned, kids.
Pause for a couple seconds, and there, and it will stay lit, a little trail of fire. But I'll do that on my tongue, and then light off my tongue. Same exact result. It's a little easier, in case you get bored this evening. But most importantly, I can do that, and it could do fire right there.
So the first was a transfer. This is a tongue transfer.
So this would be, I guess, step 2B.
The other one's fumes transfer.
Oh.
Chew the
So one
flame.
is using the fumes, the other one's using the medium, which is white gas. So you just smear it on, it stays lit. So you got about 3/4 of a second, and then you're done.
Okay, now you can eat the fire, you can chew the fire. Well, now you need an act. Because what you need now is a big finish. And I will admit, with me performing in theaters, sometimes I do get a bit of a chagrin when I say the big finish. They feel it's gauche, it's tacky, it's garish. It's not theatrical at all. Well, fuck you.
Again,
This is not a highbrow art form, guys. Just because it's in theaters and art galleries now, that's me being goofy. No. When I was 16 years old, I performed for the witless, toothless, bemulleted masses. I had Larry the Cable Guy's audience, and I was damn glad to get them. They didn't go to the carnival to see me. They didn't buy a ticket or find me on Facebook or however this many people heard about me. Good Lord.
Yeah, that room is way too full. There's 120.
No, they were coming in to see me because I was between the tilt-a-whirl and the corn dog stands.
That's a fire hazard.
It was 50 cents
Or
to see
people
my
are standing around
16-year-old butt up there.
People sitting
Hey guys, how's it going?
on
How's
the
it going?
floor, crisscross applesauce like a front row.
Yeah.
I've got 3 rows. This is also before they put the new risers in, so you and I know the venue.
Yeah.
There's maybe seating for 30-ish people, and there's
Maybe,
120-something people. So they're packed to the sides. Fortunately, I have no entrances or exits.
Yeah.
And the volunteers that I do use are very few in scope, and I could get to a good 60 people pretty easily to find someone to help me out. But there are people just trapped all around the periphery. So that's just sort of a little nod and thank you to thanks everybody for coming out.
Yeah.
I did not plan for success.
Yeah.
I went, no, just show up. It's free. Come watch me tape it, and put it everywhere.
Yeah.
And no gate, no nothing, no ticket, no even charge $5 and give them a refund at the door or something.
Mm-hmm.
I did nothing because I was struggling to get 40 people in the door.
Yeah.
And I was like, oopsie.
Too much success.
Yeah.
Well, that venue is very hip.
Yeah.
That's the I think we mentioned this already, but the Lincoln Loft, where they used to have No Shame Theater, which is actually where we met. I've been friends for a while off of that. No Shame was a theatrical open mic, basically. So we did have nights where it was almost all stand-ups, but a lot of times you could do a sketch, you could do fire eating, you could do. I think you and Charles Menard did a sock puppet sketch.
So we did some sketches that he wrote. He wrote and I rewrote with him, but they were premises that were brought to by him. Yeah. And then they all accidentally have the theme of relationships. Yeah. Which might have been where he was at the time. And so then we did a couple on a date, and that was the socks. The socks were like avatars, saying that they almost like you would hear what was in my head, but we did sock puppets just to kind of be weird. Charles's idea. Just instead of having a voice off stage.
I love that.
I hope she likes me. Hope this goes for the puppet would actually say it, and then I would hear him go, "What are you doing?" So it's a funny idea.
That's like a step further from that scene in Annie Hall.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, where they're talking with subtitles.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. I mean, Woody Allen's a creep, but goddamn it, Annie Hall's good.
And we did a bit about Instagram and such in the 1800s. Yeah, Instagram, man. Yeah. And you would get an Instagram, and it's a Snapchat. And knock on the door, and the porter would bring you a Snapchat, and is that a penis? I drew it myself. Yeah. And you tip them a nickel, and they thank you, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, but you could try anything at that place, and it went for years. And now it's It's Summer Austin and Huck Poe and all of our friends are regrouping and doing a monthly showcase out of there called This Is Not a Show. They're not paying me or us at all. This is actually about.
I'll be in it next month, I think.
Oh, sweet.
Adam reached out to me about doing it. The details are loose currently.
Cool.
But
that's how it works there.
Right? Well, I think also Adam knows my material well enough where I can just be like, what am I bringing? You're like, bring your chainsaw. Okay, got it. So I'm doing the chainsaw.
Bring your chainsaw.
He knows my material enough, so he's just going to be like, you're doing the chainsaw and you're going third.
Oh, cool.
You know what I mean? So that's all I really need to know. Other than that, it'd be nice to know who else is on the bill, but only it'd be nice. It's not necessary.
Yeah. So. I did have one question about this. I think I forgot to ask it during the interview too. Is in the interview, the podcast that comes out on April 1st, there's a moment where you say you've never had a drink in your life. And so I'm thinking, and I was actually thinking while watching this, he's never had a drink in his life, and yet he eats this fuel every night.
True, but it's naphtha. It's not alcohol.
Okay.
It's white gas.
That's
and one of the jokes I make now is I can use anything I want. So naphtha's invented in the 1950s, but there's been fire eaters for hundreds of thousands of years.
Yeah.
So before that, we used diesel, we used unleaded. Alcohol, lycopodium powder, which is a pine spore from South America. So wherever you are on Earth, you'll find something that burns, but it could be pine spores.
Okay.
Lycopodium powder was used in special effects stuff until gunpowder became available. It's like
Oh.
early 1800s.
Okay.
Physics demonstrations used before. So if you put a pile of it on the table, you can take a juggling torch and touch it, it will not burn. But if you aerate it, like flash powder sort of.
Okay.
And it's just the spore from a kind of a pine cone. You can also put it on top of the water, and when you put your hand in the water, it'll come out dry. Because the lycopodium cleans the surface tension into itself. And so you'll see it in science classes. It used to be if we were doing like Phantom of the Opera, why we're doing this in the 1700s, I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like Phantom of the Opera, now we use what's called a phantom flame, invented for that show and give it its name. We wanted a, Faust has sold his soul kind of moment.
Yeah.
It would be a bellows and lycopodium powder. You put that in a straw, so it can't get wet, and you're fire breathing.
Okay.
So it's one of the hundreds of thousands of techniques.
Got it.
So I've never finished a drink in my life. I was a bartender for years. I owned a bar. So I've tasted cocktails to see how they taste, but I don't enjoy the taste of alcohol. So I know what the target should be. It'd be like cooking Indian food. You don't really like Indian food, but you are a chef.
Yeah.
You're like, that's what that crap's supposed to taste like. Serve it.
Wow.
But you don't like it. But you're like, that's what dal tastes like. Take it to table 4. It's exactly what it's supposed to taste like. Same thing with me with bartending. I'm like, that's a martini. What's it taste like? Gasoline and garbage.
Yeah.
But there's notes of like, but I wouldn't want one, but that's correct.
Gotcha.
So I could hit the mark. So in my life from tasting, I probably have the equivalent of 3 drinks spread out over 27 years.
Yeah.
Little straws at a time. Same thing with wine. You'd ever cook with a wine you wouldn't drink.
Yeah.
So I'll taste the wine. But the motivation, I never want to then finish the cocktail.
Yeah.
It's never like, well, you're tasting it. I'm not mom in the kitchen who never drinks but drinks sherry all the time. That's not me either.
Yeah.
I taste it, and often I'll just spit it out because it just is uninteresting to me. It's a genetic thing. It's not that I'm not sober. It's not that I'm trying. It's not religious, certainly. It's just my mom's side of the family is almost entirely teetotalers. Now, they're also religious, so maybe it goes hand in glove for them. But for me, it doesn't. I'm not religious, so I have no reason to not be wine drunk right now, other than I inherited something. Just doesn't care. But yeah, that is not in any way alcohol based. Only because it's not pretty though.
Oh.
Burning brandy isn't very visible from the stage.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like try stage lighting. We're having here right now.
Yeah.
And then flame a pan for like Bananas Foster.
Yeah.
It's not pretty. That's the prettiest flame I can get delivered internationally for a good cost.
Yeah. That's when you said that, I was thinking my mind went to flambe.
Yeah.
That was actually, it's a joke I like to do when I stay over at somebody's place is I will make a flambe and be like, sorry, I burned down your kid. I'll take a picture. Like, sorry, I'm burning down your kitchen right now. Like Bananas Foster is a good easy dessert to make. And oddly enough, as we're talking about, there's just a whole drink cart behind you, which neither of us are touching.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
I don't pointed it out. She's like, it's nice of the shot. It looks nice.
I don't drink any of it.
Yeah.
All right.
I was damn glad to get anyone's audience. They wanted to get her done and get her done. I did. I did her. However that's conjugated.
I got her done. She was done. That's my point.
The American Circus Sideshow is the circus sideshow. When you go abroad, they are aping our sideshow.
Australia takes umbrage with that
footprint is written large on both modern American advertising and my art form. I don't know if you know this about Americans. We are not well known for being subtle.
The Australians love that line.
So when I say the big finish, you mean the big
bastards.
finish. And I want you to see this the way I first saw it, the way I first learned to do it. So I'm going to do a version of this as though we were between the Tilt-A-Whirl and the Corn Dogs.
Reference from earlier.
Yeah.
That joke makes less sense.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, freaks of all ages, for your edification and amusement, confoundment and confusement, I will now attempt to consume twice the fire in half my face.
Still my favorite joke in the entire bit. Twice the fire in half my face.
Anything you say and modulate your voice, people, oh, look shiny. What's going on? This will end one of two ways. Either I will extinguish a sizable fireball, the heat from which you can feel in the front row.
There are people sitting right there.
I will
when I did that, it went over their heads. They are on the floor.
You learn
feeling
something.
they go, whoa.
Yeah.
The secret to the big finish.
Thermal lag.
Acting. Terrible acting.
That's absolutely true.
Act like you've never eaten fire before, even though you just did it like 6 times. Stare into the flame. Milk it, baby. Bring it closer. Mention you have a beard. Maybe that makes it harder. Hell, I don't know. It does. Footwork is important. I don't know why. Just do it. And then finally, when they're at the edge of their seat and can't take it anymore, get her done.
Someone's very into that. When I uploaded that to YouTube, they were recommending you only upload 5-minute videos.
Oh, yeah.
This is the first video uploaded, and it immediately got traction. Like the first day, I mean, 5,000 views, but for me, that's huge. You know what I mean? Like now it's like 40 or whatever, something like that. But for me, that's gigantic. Any more than 200 views is a hit on my little 1,000 subscriber channel that you're watching now. You know, thanks. 2 people are watching live.
Yes.
You know, 100 people watch this total. So I was like, well, okay, clearly YouTube's wrong. But you can't say that when they're the YouTube and the Google. Now they won't let you upload. They discourage shorter form videos. It turns out I accidentally stumbled onto the right. I had no basis for it. Found the right answer. Now they're like, dude, 30 minutes. People like an hour, hour and 10. That Joe Rogan show is pretty popular. So they really want people to do longer format stuff. So this has been ramping up in the last 2 years as they've changed the algorithm to cut out what they were telling these folks to make, which is essentially extended Vine videos, a minute, 2 minutes long. They found out the 12-year-olds aren't watching as much as the adults are. Yeah. We've shifted. All the millennials who are now 30s and 40 years old will go to YouTube and watch, and they aren't watching that. They aren't watching Annoying Orange. They're looking for deeper content. And so now you got proper shit. And now they're doing YouTube TV, YouTube Red, etc. So it was fun to like kind of have them completely by accident. I became correct. You know what I mean? But it's just because I also uploaded 2-minute videos because I believed them.
Yeah.
I was like,
got one right.
Well, they couldn't show me analytics. They don't show me enough data for me to make the argument. No, look, this is changing shit. I'm not going to data or experience. You know, so it's just kind of fun to notice now that it's starting to get more views. Again, it's weird.
So now that we've seen it, what do you think? What's your overall assessment?
I mean, the kid's got chops. I'd like to see him keep doing it. He should probably work on his fire eating a bit. His costume, I give it an 8 out of 10. Some of the jokes are, funny to me because I wrote them.
Better be. Yeah.
The parts that I'm proud of, it's an original take on a very old art form. That's hard to do. That took me a long time to figure out. So that I'm still like, oh no, you've never seen it done this way before. I do it a different way. And then me bringing it into a different venue was an accident. I'm kind of proud of now because I'm a theater nerd. I'm a theater guy. So me bringing it into the room where I get entertained would be like if I were a film guy and I filmed it. Yeah. So I'm proud of the fact that I brought something for my people to watch that I felt like, do we need to see Arsenic and Old Lace again? Like we've done the 5,000th staging of Arsenic and Old Lace. Our noise is off. We're feeling ambitious. Maybe we could get something. I love vaudeville. Maybe we could do a vaudeville show. But now I can say maybe we can do my vaudeville show. Yeah. Here it is. Here's packaging. Here's a video. Here's what it looks like. It's finished. It's written. Here's the script you can check. So I'm proud of those parts of it. And then I like the fact that I got it filmed in high quality. Yeah. That's not a common thing, and that really helps me out. This thing helped me out a lot. Like getting theaters to say yes when I can be like, well, here it is. Here's 20 minutes of it. Yeah. Watch until you feel that I'm not going to burn your place down and that I am getting past that you're not theater thing. Like watch until you think I'm theater. Or until you're like, nope. But at least I got a fair shake. Yeah. At least I can say, well, you watched it for 5 minutes and said, no, fuck this guy. Well, that's cool. Fuck me. Okay, that's fair. You gave me a shot.
Yeah. Well, that's something you say in the interview too, is that you have a passion for it. And when I get to the part, which every episode I ask, what's your advice for new people? And you just say, what are you passionate about? It could be two things, put them together in a way that makes it original to you. And that's exactly what you did. So it doesn't matter. Like, that is theater.
Well, and make sure that you do it not just for free, but that you pay to do it.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, we were talking about this before. Like, I would bartend.
Yeah.
Make $300, in New Orleans, and I knew that night all $300 of those dollars were going to a theater for a week for rent, and no one was coming. No one was showing up. 5 people, 6 people. I was paying $200 a night to be there. Everyone else was paying $10 to watch me.
Yeah.
And none of people showed up for it to ever be anything other than like, well, I bought a $200 ticket in the front row, and that was perfectly okay with me. Happy to do it again next week. Happy to do it again tomorrow. Happy to do 3 shows a night because I felt like I was moving towards something. I felt good about what I was doing. And the joke I would make was like, there's 5 people in the front row, and I'd tell the wife at the time was running my lights. And I would say, watch me go melt 5 motherfucking faces. I would get a standing ovation with 5 motherfuckers in this room. Because I would get people who were like, oh my God. And so I'm like, okay, good, you care. Yeah. So I just need 30 more of you. That's it. I'm just not a broad. I'm not, I'm not Kylie Jenner. I'm not going to hit a Kardashian number, right? I'm not Bill Cosby in the 70s or 60s, right? I'm not going to get that mass. So clearly I'm a niche thing. Fine. Yeah. Then I just need to be able to get exposure enough to pull my 1%. Yeah. So then it just becomes a numbers game. Will the grind beat me or will I beat the grind? But once I saw some success being those 2 people went, that was great. Yeah. I'm going to come back with my cousin. He'd love this. Like, cool. There'll be 3 people here. Yeah. Awesome. I'll make 4. Yeah. That's great. That's twice the number we had tonight. Once I saw any kind of success from people, that's all the crack I needed. Just keep driving at it. So if you don't have that otaku, that like drive to it, I don't know how you're not going to give up. Wow. Like if you're not on stage believing it when no one else does, for no good reason, you have no logical proof. I have no evidence. But neither did Robin Williams. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he was out there, on the street doing mime and no one gave a shit. Yeah. Well, I mean, just practicing. That was more of his his Juilliard background. Yeah. But going to auditions and they say, not only they say no, they say hell no. Yeah. You're a weirdo. You're clearly coked out. I mean, he got Mork and Mindy that way. He did from Happy Days. Yeah. But that was a fluke from his comedy, but he went to the comedy clubs. Yeah. He got spotted there. So he kind of was doing a street show. At the time, comedy clubs were just a step off the street show. Yeah. But Christopher Reeve, his roommate at Juilliard, got the roles, got the parts in the play. Robin Williams wasn't good looking enough to be, and he had a weird thing, so he had to kind of find his own. And there's tons of stories like that. You'll find people making their own path. But so make sure you're willing to do that, man. Because if you're not, I wouldn't wish that life on anyone who wasn't proud of their work. Yeah. So you need to be comfortable living in the first 15 minutes of a Spielberg film. Nobody believes you. You're down on your luck. You're with no evidence you're going to get to the second act. Yeah. We're done. But are you happy in that moment? Can you do your day job and then go play in your dad band at night? Yeah. And then die. Yeah. That's it. That's your life. That's what you do. Does that bring you enough joy? I like how you said be in your dad band. I'm like, that is a sad thing. Not really. I'll tell you the good thing about a dad band. What's that? Was $500,000 worth of equipment on the stage. Yeah. So they sound fantastic. They're from their day jobs. Yeah. They load in like from the law firm. They pull up in a $25,000 van. Yeah. They're getting paid $200, by the way, from Senior Frogs. Yeah. They unload $200,000 worth of equipment. And then they play songs they've been playing for 30 friggin' years. Yeah. They ripped Jeremy by Pearl Jam in half. Yeah. And you're like, good Lord, man. But he's been playing it since it was the #1 song. Yeah. So I do love a dad band because they're not like, we learned this last week. Yeah, they're like here's Nirvana, and we played this when we were also 20 before Kurt took his life. Here we go. We were still wearing the flannel unironically. Yeah, I absolutely love, and I love hobbyists. I think it's a really a thing we've kind of lost. The idea that you have to be. That's interesting. Why do I have to be Tom Cruise? Well, why is that the only option? Tom Cruise or give up? So many people talk about doing it as a hobby, and the people I have on this show so far have said if you're doing it as a hobby, fine. They just kind of dismiss it as fine. But there's film of like guys who made it, like Ralphie May, saying, if you're a hobbyist, get the fuck off the stage. Yeah, get the fuck out because there are people who want to make it. I hate to be over dead. He was a chef for years in New Orleans. He said himself. He was a chef 4 years in New Orleans. We worked in a lot of the same restaurants, and he was hobbying at night as stand-up until he got enough under to succeed. So I don't know at what point he decided to retcon his history.
Ooh.
But I wish you were here. I'd have the debate with him. Yeah. He'd bury me. Like debating Patrice O'Neill. Yeah. He's going to concede whatever it is. You're right. Yeah. He's too quick. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if they both weren't resting in peace. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, no. I think that maybe stand-ups have gotten a little too, maybe back off the Mark Maron bullshit a little bit, stand-ups. Pump the brakes on that nonsense. Because then people like me will come back into your comedy clubs. You chased us all off with your bullshit, and I went to rent theaters. Ah. So this, like, you just get up there with a mic and talk about your issues. Maybe I fucking juggle, you dick. Maybe. I tell a story about Winnie the Pooh and juggle. Maybe fuck you. Maybe it's art. And it's theater. But it also lends to all the stand-ups are the same to me. When I go to an open mic, I'm like, oh, look, another Louis C.K., circa 1995. Cool. Oh, another one. Oh, this is an African-American gentleman, so Hannibal Buress. Two Sarah Silvermans and another Louis C.K. Wow. And that's all I see. Rarely do I see Bob Nelson. Look him up. Amazing. He did basically sketch on the stand-up comedy stage. Bob Nelson, one of my favorites. But Gallagher or Carrot Top or Stephen Lynch. Like, why not someone with a guitar? You're talking about the same stuff that a comedian will talk about. That's what attracted me more, so I wandered off. As did Harry Anderson, as did The Amazing Jonathan, as did Penn and Teller, as did Mackie King. Yeah. You used to have interesting acts to go in between stand-ups to cleanse the palate, who were no better or worse than you were. The open micer had an open mic magician. Yeah. It was just as shitty as the comics were, but as they got better, he got better. Mm-hmm. You know, and here's juggling Jim. You know, and so Jim would come out and juggle and was just as bad as the opener. But you had these palate cleansers to help you along. I mean, the improv. Yeah, used to have Bette Midler come and sing a song. Yeah, well, she would sing in between comedy bits.
This is what I love about doing the show is I have so many different opinions to work from, and it goes to I've thought this all along, but doing the show has really helped reinforce it in my brain. Is like there's no right way to do any of this. There's no right opinion. Yeah, you know, I mean, your heroes might be opinionated, but they're not right. Yeah. You know, they did it a certain way, like you said. Be that first sad 10 minutes, you know, and be happy being
but
there.
They drove out. So a diversity of persona is important. Yes, that you want to have people on the gender spectrum and the sexuality spectrum that are different, not just white male, white male, white male, white male, white male. But also, can one of you motherfuckers play guitar? Could one of you juggle while playing the guitar? Could there be a puppet? Like, do you have to all use? So, okay, you're different, but the medium is the same. Another interesting thing that happened to me this week when I was working at Starbucks. Like, all of you have the same life experiences bent slightly through a prism, but if you put them through a different medium, say, I don't know, interpretive dance that's funny. Mm-hmm. Now you and I even going up there with very similar cis male, heterosexual, etc. Mm-hmm. But if I do interpretive dance that's funny, or at least as funny as your stand-up. Mm-hmm. Again, you don't want to be, you know, but where you go, oh, it was okay. Doesn't that help the scene? I got the feeling it didn't, and I was uninvited.
Oh, shit.
And so that was the feeling I got, was they were like, no, you're doing a different thing. I'm like, okay. And then theaters offered me the whole night. They're like, well, you rented it. It's yours. I go, oh, let's do an hour then. Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys begged for 5 minutes. I'll be in here doing an hour. Terribly. As bad as your hour would have been. Mm-hmm. But I get to do that hour over and over and over and over and grind it up. But yeah, stand-up just drives me nuts for that reason. Is you have to really seek out. How many Maria Bamfords are there? And why aren't there 5,000 more? At an open mic. When was the last time you thought Bamford-esque, man? That is Bamford-esque.
There's a few comedians I know. One I actually have on season 2 coming up. Sabine Sadiq. She is amazing, and she takes a lot of influence from Maria Bamford. I get some of that energy off of her.
Yeah, funny voices, wild premises. Not that everyone can be that. Yeah, that's like saying be Richard Pryor. Yeah, like, even if you were born in a whorehouse, that doesn't mean you're going to be Richard Pryor. Even if you blew yourself up with cocaine, but if you had cool stories, you might just be that dude at the thing. Man, I blew myself up freebasing one time at a party. Yeah, and they go, what? And you have a cool story, bro, but you're not Richard Pryor. So just being goofy doesn't mean you're going to be Bamford-esque. But I love that someone's been inspired. Now we need to get some more, like, anybody got some props?
Yeah, right. Like, let's push it a step further.
I mean, seriously, none of you can juggle? Like, write a piece. Like, do a backflip.
There's actually one more. Speaking of Bamford, there's someone who's coming early on season 2, Whitney Chitwood. Yeah, she's great. She just recorded an album at the Green Mill, which will be coming out fairly soon on an independent record label. And she got tweeted out by Bamford.
Nice.
And Bamford was recommending her.
Because they're similar? Because they're like... Because like there's an Andy Kaufman Award, and I always look for the Andy Kaufman Award winner.
I don't even know. I don't think that they're particularly similar, but it's craft. With Whitney Chitwood in particular, her craft is impeccable. Yeah. And when I had her on the show, I was constantly delving into like the technical, and she knew all of it.
Yeah,
it's like
so much is not with the crowd. Like, don't get me wrong, we watched the Mark Maron, his last special together. It was fantastic, and then I love Bert Kreischer's Secret Time, which is as bro comedy, down the barrel, into camera one as you can get.
It's a fat hairy
guy. It's the thing I'm railing against only when there's 15 of them on the bill.
Yeah,
and no variants. That's what I'm railing against. And then even getting black gay Bert Kreischer doesn't satisfy me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, just because here's gender fluid Bert Kreischer, but it's still just in a microphone doing stories. What I'm advocating for is like, motherfucker brought a trapeze.
Yeah.
I don't even know what we're putting up. You know, but
forget different premises.
That old style. Well, when the improv was a Broadway lovers, what's the guy with the monocle who started that scene? Bud, I'm forgetting his name. He was a Broadway baby. He started as a place for the Broadway fans to come with. That's why there was always a stupid piano for no reason at a comedy show. Because they would sing songs from Cats and stuff. Then the comedians invaded, just looking for mics, just looking for stages. So here comes Jay Leno at 20 years old. And he goes, oh, that's interesting. Carry on. Then it becomes a big fad for a while. So it flips 90-10 the other way. But you still had, Bette Midler and a bunch of others dropping in between your Jay Leno's and Jerry Seinfeld's and all the hundreds of thousands of wannabes who didn't make it, singing songs from singing memories in the middle of the night. Yeah, well, the last comedy comedy album music wise for a piano specifically, because there's always Weird Al, was did you ever hear of Tom Lehrer? Yes, no, I love Tom Lehrer. Tim Minchin is a modern counterpart to Tom Lehrer. Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah. I grew up with actual LP records in my house. Yeah. So Tom Lehrer was a few of those records. No, I absolutely love that's a genius at work. And so is Tim Minchin. I mean, the guy who wrote what was the school? He wrote a musical, Broadway musical. I'm blanking on the name of it. Yeah. But yeah, it's and it won a bunch of Tony Awards and stuff. I mean, he's a legit musician as well, but very funny, very clever. Like the heir apparent, in my opinion, to Lehrer is Minchin. Shit. Oh yeah, awesome. Tim Minchin, Australian bloke. Absolutely fantastic. Wow. So, do we have any questions from anybody? How are we gonna close this thing out? I think we just got comments from people saying like, "Hey Tom," which is very sweet. Thank you.
Well, Amy wants to know if you have any taste buds left.
The good news is because it heals very quickly, and having been a chef, I was a chef for a large part of my life. That would have been a tough decision to make.
Do I keep going with this?
It doesn't. So you're thinking of like if you get burned and you have like scarification for life. Ooh. That's a 3rd degree. I'm not even getting a 1st degree burn. So the answer is yes. I can even make the argument that the weak ones are gone. Only the strong
survival the fittest.
Survival in my mouth. Is that a pickup line? It's like Darwin in here, baby.
Oh God. Run as fast as you can from that guy.
All the frequently asked questions are, does it burn? Yes. It does, especially at first. You're going to get blisters. You see me make the joke, right in the middle of your tongue. So you'll get a blister because that's where you contact. So that's the torch. You contact because you kind of go blind about here. I can't see my thumb, right? So I put my tongue out and aim for that part. Because when my eyes closed, I can do that, right? If you're not drunk, you can touch your nose with your eyes closed, right? And then that guides it into your mouth. So it's kind of right? So that part gets burned. This is again doing 10 hours. And then right here, when you try and do a sustain for the first year or so, but much like I equate it to say like a marathon runner, you want to run a marathon, we'll go outside and run until you're tired. Yeah. Then repeat the next day. And then by a month later, you'll be much further away from home when you get tired. Yeah. The walk back will be much longer. But by month 6, now you're learning how to taper. You have to start applying some science to it. Just run, just go, Forrest. Yeah. Until you're tired. So after a while, this stops. Now I can eat fire. Say the little bit that I'm doing without dialogue. So it's a tight 4. And just repeat. I think it'd be 9 or 10 hours before I would start to show any sort of wear or tear. Wow. I would get bored. But it wouldn't be. So if I did a film or TV show and they needed 25 takes of it, I'm fine.
Then you're fine. No tongue calluses.
No, and there's no change. There's no physiological change. And then so what does it taste like? It tastes like gasoline. If you ever smell gasoline, that's I don't think I'm even tasting it. I think the way like you hold your nose, you can't taste something. I think I'm still just smelling it, and that's part of taste. And they're so tight, I can't tell. I think if I held my nose or had a flu, I don't think it tastes like anything. But it smells of gasoline, and then I mix a bit of acetone, which is fingernail polish remover, because it gives a nice color to it. Only for color. It doesn't affect the physics at all. I just want a nice, pretty orange flame with a lot of black smoke. And acetone gives me that black smoke in a way that naphtha is designed to burn cleaner looking. For oil lamps, and give you less smoke. I want to undo that science.
Okay.
So you smell nail polish remover, but I don't think nail polish remover tastes like anything either. I think you smell it and you think it tastes like something. How long did it take you to learn? I don't really remember. I was 16. I was learning from very highly trained professionals. So probably a couple of weeks. But again, you talk about boot camp. We're up at 10 in the morning. Let's begin eating fire until 9 p.m. Oof. So, I mean, imagine you were learning any other skill on that 11-hour timetable.
It's like those old kung fu movies where the kid goes to live with the monks, and then they're carrying water for 10 hours, and then they're standing in the horse stance for an hour on spikes or whatever. Yeah, that's.
But you get up there with a microphone, and you've got to bark the show now. You've got to talk the show.
Yeah.
And at first, you're barely doing it, and by the end of an 8-hour shift, you're like, ladies and gentlemen, behind me is Lydia, the tattooed lady. You've seen nothing like her in your life, and you never will again. For only 25 cents, you can see her right here, right now. Lydia, the line forms to my left. Ladies and gentlemen, right there, go right in. Lydia, waiting for you back here. And you just do that.
Yeah.
But that's one day. It takes one day to learn that, but it takes a 7-hour day to go, there's a tattooed lady, and for a quarter, you can,
then you master the carnival barker. Yeah. Do we have any other questions? That's it? Okay. You answered all of them.
That's it. I mean, well, the show's also an FAQ. The way the show was born afterwards, just saying, like, does that hurt? Does that burn? How long did it take? That you see those questions being put into a script.
Yeah.
So it made the writing easier.
Wow. So how do you want to close this out?
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you for watching this. I appreciate, especially folks who will watch in the future on YouTube. That's where most of the views will come, is in the next week or so. I mean, traditionally, maybe no one wants us to watch
this. Maybe this gets 40K.
Maybe everyone hates us, maybe everyone loves us. Yeah. If you want to see the show, you go to freakshowtell.com. If you want to find performance review.
Oh, you can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, where it's everywhere. Every streaming platform.
I'll put links to something.
Yeah, the app is already on your phone. It's already there. Just click on it and search for Revue, REVUE, and you'll find it. It's there. Yeah. Season 1 is already
Thank you, Allison. You're sitting there and being bored for over an hour while we talk about things you already knew.
Yeah, I have no bunnies to play with, unfortunately. Sorry.
Allison's running our cameras, the iPads and laptops we're using.
I'm just bummed you didn't let me use any bunny filters.
She said she's bummed that we didn't let her use any bunny filters. Which be honest though, percentage-wise, 90% bunny filter, 95% bunny filter. It'd have been 99% bunny filter, wouldn't it? It'd have been a solid hour of bunny filter.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, no reason to change bunny filter.
Yeah, or we could have changed it out with like the aviators.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, I did that earlier for fun.
Filters for an hour.
Every 10 seconds.
Some poor soul on Facebook's like, is this part of the shtick? I don't understand.
This weed's kicking in.
It's not funny. It's just not this hilarious.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. Allison, you hang up the iPad, and I'll hang up the laptop. And, go see some theater, guys.
Yes,
Bye.
see theater, see comedians. Tell them to juggle chainsaws.
I'm going to get very close to you, but don't worry. I'm not going to hurt you.
That's not creepy at all.
I'm just going to stop broadcasting. It's Quiz Creepy Whisper. Just going to stop broadcasting now. Goodbye.